Welcome back and welcome to AfterCLIMB. Today, I'm going to be talking about version 8.3.3, our brand new release. I'm going to suggest to you there's a ton in this. So when you get this version, come to TIL and parameters and go into the release notes. And that's going to give you a lot of things I'm not going to have time to cover today. I'm going to try to cover what I consider to be the highlights, but there's a lot in here. So please review those release notes as always. Okay, let's get started. Not in any particular in any particular order, but let's just go ahead and start with a couple of new things. So in the customer editor now, if we go over to associates and we go over to customer editor, this is there we have a new ability to add multiple shipping addresses, multiple addresses. And then this is really ties to our delivery product mostly. So you can go over here to shipping information, alternate addresses, and you can have as many addresses as you'd like. And I'll show you this a little bit later when we go into the till and we're doing some deliveries. If you have multiple addresses, other shipping addresses, at the point of delivery, it can come up and will come up and ask you which address you would like to use. So it'll default to the default shipping address, but then it'll list any additional addresses. And then over here in the phone number, so if you're under the default, this phone number, this can be used, this can be the cell phone number, this can be used to text the customer that their order has been delivered or their order is on the way. So that's what this phone number field is for. Anyway, that's what we have in the customer editor, and you'll see how that works in the till in just a little bit. Now, for those of you who are really, you have a lot of different vendors and you're importing files through the Universal Import program to update, to add items and to update prices, we have added a feature that will make things a little bit easier for you. And it's called code mapping. I'm going to actually log out here for just a second and log in with my higher security setting, because I don't have access to code mapping in my lower security setting. Okay, so under code mapping, in Universal Import, your file can have what we refer to as the fine line code. Now, what we can do is we can create a map for fine line code. So we'll go here to fine line and you'll see I have one. Now, here's how this works. I put in whatever's going to be in the file that I am importing. So I get this file from a vendor, and let's say that they have a column in their file that has whatever they refer to as the category department fine line of the item. And you look at that and you say, okay, that particular, in my example, 0111 is a column in their file. And you look at that and you go, that really, in my file, in my fine line system, I want that to go to N0110. And we also now can attach the vendor. So we can say if the file is AMBER, the vendor is AMBER, and the column labeled department or category or whatever the label is 0111, then I want that all of those items to go to N0110. Okay, so we go through the file, we look at those, we click add here, we say the source code is 123, and when it's 123, I look at the destination code and I say, I want that to be baby formula. You click OK, and then you say, they could be in all cases. So any file you're loading that has 123, it's going to go to 0511, or you can say by vendor. And so you can look at all your different vendors and you can say, I'm getting this from VDI, and so if it's a VDI file with 123, it's going to go into 0511. So this is a new feature, and it's a one-time setup for you, but it really helps you, for those of you who are really trying to focus on getting things into the correct fine line categorization system of our product, this is a great tool to help with that. Okay. One of the things that I've talked about in previous AfterCLIMBs is a feature in the system in the inventory control side where you can set up an order schedule. Where this becomes really handy is if you have a lot of vendors besides your drug wholesaler, but you have a lot of vendors. We have customers that have over 100 vendors, and with those vendors, they have a minimum order quantity, minimum order amount to get free shipping, or minimum order amount period. The order scheduler can be set up so that it's looking every single day. For instance, it's looking at every single day to see if it meets that minimum. And if it meets that minimum, you can create a purchase order from that. We've added a feature in the order scheduler to where now when it meets that minimum, it can email you. And so we look here, I've got this particular thing set up by vendor and fine line. And so when I look at this, I can come down here and I can get set email addresses. And when I set up the email, then I just simply set up the email address that I want the person who I want to get an email when the minimum is met, and they'll get an email. And I'm sorry, my demo system seems to be acting up a little bit here, but it's simply just clicking this box and putting an email address. So when the minimum's met, then this person's going to get an email so they know to go in and then create the purchase order from here. It'll just, you press the create purchase order and it now sets the purchase order. Okay. The next thing I want to show is a little change we made in the product manager. This is a tool that I don't think many of you use, but it might be something that you really would like to use. So in the product manager, when you get into the find, you go down into find, the system now remembers what you did previously. So if I go here and I click find, and my system's running just a little bit slow right now. Whatever you did previously, so I had barcode previously. If I come in here and I change this to report description, I click OK. Now from now on, when I go into find, I think I have too many other screens open on my computer, eating up my resources here, but apologize for the little bit of delay. Then it always opens in description. If I switch this back to some other thing, that's what it'll open up next time. One other thing I want to point out while I'm in here, many of you don't know this, but if you click options, you can create multiple formats. So the format that I have currently is called inventory, and these are the fields that it's showing on my find. So if we go back in here, you'll see here it's showing you the barcode, the bin location, the on hand, the min, and the max for these items. When I click options, I can go to default, for instance, which is what you all have, and it's going to show you the description, the retail, the cost, the average cost, the bin location, the fine line, and the on hand. You can click add format, name your format, and then select the fields you want. So you constantly have the ability to look at different bits of information depending on the format that you want to look at. Regardless, whatever format you're currently in, and whatever your sorting option is, it's going to remember that for the next time that you come in. So that's a new change. Okay, Now there's a master parameter that I want to talk about real quick. Over here under till parameters, under master parameters. So many of you get the RX pop-up screen that reminds you or says, hey, there's additional prescriptions available for this patient. Now, depending on the interface type and your pharmacy system, in many of these cases, you're getting this information. We're pulling this information from the pharmacy system, or they're sending it to us. And you're used to having to do will call reconciliation. Some of you don't do it. And your screen ends up showing lots of prescriptions that really aren't available. So we've added a parameter under the RX parameters section, and it's called, let's take a sec to get here. Everything seems to be running slow now with my system. And it's down here, and it's called outstanding or out RX days to load, outstanding prescription days to load. So let's say that you're religiously going to your will call bins and you're removing everything that is older than 14 days. You can set this to 14 days. And now, regardless of what is showing in our system is available, we will cut off anything where the fill date was more than 14 days ago. So if you've gone over to will call and pulled everything out and stuck it back to return to stock in your pharmacy system, and then you set this to 14 or 10 or whatever that magic number is for you, then it's no longer going to show anything older than that in the list of items or prescriptions available for pickup. This is really a good deal for those of you who are on a interface where it's not query based, where we don't ask the pharmacy system every single transaction, and that's still the majority of you. So new parameter for you. If the information is errant in that recommend or prescriptions available for pickup, this is somewhere you could fix this. Okay, now the rest of what I really want to talk about really focuses for the most part about delivery. There's a couple of other pieces, but I'm going to go to the till for this. Okay, so as the till opens here, I'm going to start by doing a prescription for patient. This is not going to be a delivered prescription, but there is a change we made for most of you. Well, for all of you, when the patient counseling screen pops up is hard coded, and that happens. That's basically the first thing that happens after a prescription looking for prescriptions for pickup. The patient counseling screen pops up. We've added a parameter that allows that screen to pop after you've accepted payment and signatures. I've turned that on. So I'm going to go ahead and scan a couple of prescriptions here. Okay, and now I'm going to just cash out. You'll notice one other change here. We've added these quick keys for tender type. So if the person gave you a $50 bill, you can just hit the 50, and it's going to show you that $50 is a tendered amount due is 25. Now, normally right here would be where you'd have seen the screen pop and asking you about counseling. I've changed that parameter. So I'm going to do this, say yes to the counseling. I'm going to sign for the prescription. And now the counseling is going to come up. So it's just changing the workflow and the order in which that's going to come up. And I'm just going to say no to counseling, and then print my receipt. Okay, so that's a simple change, but something many of you requested. So if that's something you were interested in, you can go ahead and let us know, and we'll configure that for you. And the release notes tell you how to configure it as well. So. Okay, another situation. This is scan a couple of OTCs. This situation occurred when you've scanned something and you want to do a customer search to look up their balance. You hit customer search, and you scroll down or you type in part of the name, and you're looking at the balance, and you hit enter. Now, you haven't charged anything because you haven't charged. You're just doing a customer search. What can happen though, what used to be able to happen is now if you did hit house charge here, and let me just talk about this screen first. Some of you have seen this because this isn't new, but if you have customers with active tokens, credit card tokens, when you hit house charge, there's a parameter that allows you to have this screen pop to tell you, wait a minute, I know they have a house charge account, but they also have active credit card tokens on file. Do you want to use one of those tokens instead of house charge? This is a parameter too, so you can turn this off so it doesn't pop that, but I'm going to say no, I don't want to use one of the tokens. This is for those of you doing loyalty. This is a screen that can pop. Again, just because it's here, I'll mention it, allowing you to offer them loyalty points, point redemption right there at the till. Again, just something, if you're not using loyalty, this is a feature that's available. Okay, and then so now we finally get to the screen I was looking for, which is the charge screen, and we've added a parameter so that not only the code, the patient's code, but the customer's name will appear here on the screen, so you can see it and go, wait a minute, I don't want to charge to Marie Abernathy. How did I do that? And then you can hit F1 to change the customer. So then it'll take you back to the customer search. If you meant to charge to Marie Abernathy, then you can just hit enter here. You'll notice that the name Marie Abernathy popped up on that screen because you've said that you're charging to her. I'll sign here, click next, and you can see that once again right there. Some of you have never seen this screen before. This is not new either, but you do have the ability, we do have the ability to email receipts. So you can have a screen pop to ask whether you want to print an email or no receipt. Even if you're not doing email, you can have a screen pop that gives you the opportunity to say whether you want to print or no receipt. So that's something we had, we did a while back, but you may not have seen that before. Okay, now I'm going to show you something that was requested quite a while ago, and that is to be able to load save transactions and delete them from the till. So I am going to actually show you. I'm going to log out of the till. Change my login. I'm going to log in as a lower security level. I'm going to go back into the till. Just take a moment here. So what I'm about to do is I'm going to show you that I can delete a delivery transaction from the till, but I can also put security, a trust level on it so that it requires an override from a manager. So as in this security level that I've signed in as, I'm a level 2 employee. So it's going to ask for a level 1 override because I've set it up that way. So I'm going to go to F12 or F11, get to the load transaction. I'm going to do the load transaction. Here are 2 saved transactions. Notice you have the ability to look at saved transactions from additional tills. So let's say I want to bring up one from till 2. I only have 1 till, but I could go to the tills and pull up the saved transaction from another till. Then you'll see down here I have the option to press F2 to delete. So I'm going to do that. And it's going to come up because I've set security so that not just anybody can do this delete. It's going to ask me to enter my level 2 security to do this. And so I do. And then it prompts me, do I really mean to do this? And I say, yes, I do. Now you'll see here on the screen, it says canceled. And if I just escape to get out of here, if I go back into load transaction, you'll see it's gone. Okay, so no longer there. Now in the transaction log viewer, it shows that that was done. So, and who did it and all of that. So that's still there, but you no longer have to delete these things from the transaction log viewer only. Okay, and then next I want to talk about, I'm going to do delivery transaction here at the till, and then show you what that looks like on the PDA device or on the Android device. So let's do let's go. There we go. Let's do delivery for Marie Abernathy. Okay, so I'm going to do create delivery transaction. And when I do that, because she has multiple shipping addresses, I can come down here. I can see this is the default because it defaults to that. But let's say that I want to deliver to this one. So I can highlight that either my mouse, my finger with my arrow key. And then I can hit S for select for shipping. Now it changes this to here. I have the phone number here. And I can just hit enter to now have this become the shipping address. I have the ability then to say, well, the customer be paying now or at time of delivery. And notice it tells me an active token exists for this customer. I'm going to say pay now. Now it has the ability to come up and ask about if you're using drivers, it can ask for the driver. For those of you who've been doing this in the past, this is another enhancement. In the past, it listed every employee. Now in the employee record, there's a field that allows you to tell that this person is a delivery driver and then have only the delivery drivers listed here. So that's a new feature for those of you who are using this. I'm just going to choose myself. Of course, the loyalty points came up and I'm going to escape out of that. Here, you can select the method of payment. So I'm going to go ahead and select that credit card method of payment. And then I'm going to come down to delivery instructions. This is another new feature. And I'm going to say, deliver to backyard through side gate on left of house, no dogs. And then we'll use, you'll notice it says enter to continue, which would require that I input a credit card, create new token, or use existing token. I'll go use existing token. And now it's going to use the tokens on file, the token on file. And then I can print this if I'd like. Now, let me escape out of the till. I'm going to bring up, I'm going to set this up in advance, but it shouldn't be a problem. Just real quick. I'm going to be able to share what the screen looks like here. So there we go. And select that, go remote control. Now you're going to see the same thing I'm seeing on the device I have in my hand right now. Go to the delivery. Okay, so now you're seeing the delivery options. There's a bunch from yesterday, and then at the bottom here is the one I just did. So we'll talk about a few things. So let's select the one I just did by pressing on it. Notice you have this. It was paid for. There's 2 items. Got all the information. You have the person's cell phone number. It's not delivered. Delivered to backyard through side gate on left of house. No dogs. Now, there's a few things you can do here. For those of you who use this feature, of course, you can map this if your Android device has a GPS in it, and your Android device has a wireless connection. Then you can use Google Maps. I'll click on the mapping feature so you can see, and it's showing where I currently am. And then if I go out a little bit here, it's going to show where I'm delivering down to here. So we could do this for all of your delivery. If you had multiple delivery locations, then you can do that and map right to it. I know there's always the question, does it do routing? And no, it doesn't do route optimization. That's not available with Google Maps at this time. Okay, so now another feature that's new is if you highlight and you hold the delivery down, then notice something popped up. You have 2 things that popped up at the top here. Remove order. So you could remove this from the order at this point in time, or remove this order from your screen at this time. You could also send a text. So you could click on send text, and I don't have ability to do this. This device doesn't have the ability to do this, but it would pop a screen and allow you to text to the number, whatever you'd like. I'm on my way, be there in 20 minutes. Something along those lines. So let's go ahead and get to the delivery part. Now I'm going to hit deliver. And this is one of my favorite pieces now, is I can come here. I can have them sign. I want to point something out. There's this take picture in the upper left. I didn't hit that, so I'm going to click done. And then if I've turned this on, it's going to warn me and say, hey, you didn't capture a picture. Do you want to do so? I can click take picture. And now I can take the picture of where I've delivered this at their house because they're not there. And then I can click done. Now I'm connected to the network, so that one is left my device. Normally it would just move to the bottom. So now that's some of the functionality that we have we've added with this. There's one other thing I want to show before I move on and show you what that looks like in the transaction log viewer. But I forgot to mention, we now have a new mode called claim mode. When you go into claim mode, it allows you to look at your orders, and the driver then can choose the orders that the driver wants to claim. So in this case, all of these are on my device, they're claimed, right? So I can then come here and click unclaim, and now it's going to remove that. I no longer have claiming that. I can unclaim that one, and then this one is claimed and this one is claimed. And so now, and I would do this before I leave the store, now I'm only taking the items, the orders that I'm actually going to take, and another driver can claim the orders they're going to take. Okay, so let's look at what this all looks like on the back end in the transaction log viewer. So when I want to look at my delivery orders, let's say there's a question, somebody says, I didn't get this, it wasn't left on my porch. You can now go to the transaction log viewer, and you can go to delivery. Now that one was, let's see, I'll just go through the last 2 days. I can't remember which one I did. did some of these yesterday. There we go. So here's one, just to give you an example of one where I did do this. You'll see a new hyperlink down here, and click the delivery location. And now it shows you the GPS coordinates and the picture where you left this delivery. So if there's any question, now you have the ability to do that. Okay, and that looks like everything that I had on my list that I'm going to demo. I do want to point out a couple of other things that I'm not going to demo, but for those of you doing e-commerce through 24/7 commerce, you now have the ability to sell out of stock items. Also, you have the ability to set new items that are being created to automatically be set as online items. For those of you using the items with no sales report and you're religiously doing bin locations like we teach, you now have the ability to look at items with no sales by bin location. And then next month in AfterCLIMB, we have 2 additions that are coming to 833 as patches within the next week or so. And so next month I will be showing you credit card surcharging. I know this is one that many of you have been asking about. Can we do a credit card surcharge? And I'm going to show you how you'll be able to do that in 833. It's coming out as a patch here in about a week, maybe 2 weeks. So I'll show that next month. And then also for those of you doing mail order and using UPS World Ship, we have a patch coming out. I've looked at it myself here now a couple of times, and the patch should be ready in a week or so for UPS World Ship integration, where we actually can text the patient the tracking number, and once it's been delivered, we can update the delivery date and time into Star Plus as well. So pretty cool stuff coming your way. And anyway, if you have questions, reach out to us, and we'd be happy to help you. Especially if you reach out, we move you to the top of the list for getting upgraded, so you can take advantage of some of these features right away. So thanks for joining us, and I hope you're having a great day. Cheers, everyone.